While reading an article about a woman gave up her career in marketing to move 900 miles away to become a full-time caregiver for her mother, who was having issues with her grandmother's Alzheimer's and the care of. Her temporary situation became permanent as she was told her mother was also diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She sacrificed her comfort and her security to be with to be the full-time caregiver to her mother and her grandmother. Her love and loyalty changed her situation. Her strength of character came to light, and her sacrifice was blessed. Her priorities were clarified, and she didn't need wealth or money or career. Time with the one she loved was all that mattered. She discovered a new purpose, one she didn't know that she could do. This uncommon loyalty is demonstrated in the book of Ruth, where Ruth is willing to give up the security of her homeland in order to follow her mother-in-law back to Bethlehem on the news that the Lord has given them food. Verse 1 through 6 gives the setting of the story. We're in the first chapter of Ruth, and you can look at this as a focus story within the lineage of David and eventually Jesus. Verses 1 through 7 provides the time and location for this story. It was in the time of Judges in the city of Bethlehem in Judah. For those who like biblical dating, this story would have happened within about one generation of the death of Jacob, around 1200-ish BC. During this time, there was a famine. Food was scarce, and a family of Ephrathites, otherwise known as people of Bethlehem, were about to set out for Moab to live temporarily or sojourn. Elimelech and his wife Naomi, along with their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Over the next 10 years, she would see many things. She would see her sons marry Moabite women. She would see her husband die early, and she'd watch both of her sons die. Then, then, with all this tragedy, Naomi receives word from Bethlehem while she's standing in the fields of Moab. The Lord has visited her people and given them food. She, along with her daughters-in-law, both widows, set out for Judah. Moab is about 50 miles from Bethlehem. However, it would take us 7 to 10 days to travel there in ancient times. Think of it as like driving a car with all of your possessions from Missouri to Alaska. That decision to stay or leave is very hard. Um, when you get there, you'll have limited contact with your friends and family, and you are in a different world altogether. You don't know people there. It will take some transition. Naomi cared for her daughters-in-law and told them, "Go, return each of you to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me." Naomi continued to pray for them that they may find new husbands and be relieved of the normal stresses brought on by being a widow. Naomi then kissed them, and they all wept. The women had a very difficult choice to make: stay with their mother-in-law or return to their families in hopes of recovering their lives. This complication forces the women to either return from where they came in the hope they can restart their lives, or continue to be loyal to their new family and in move in the hope that they will prosper. It is important to remember that not only are they in the distant land of Moab for Naomi, they're in a land that are mainly pagans and believe in many gods. If they leave Moab, they're going to be leaving the faith that they grew up with. We don't know at this time if they've converted over and believed in God, but it's very easy being surrounded by it their entire lives that they can go back to that, and that feels comforting to them. And you can only imagine what it'd be like to grow up in another country or move to another country. Only people you know there would be your mother-in-law, in this case, mother-in-law, and your sister-in-law. You didn't know the people there. You didn't know their language. You didn't know their traditions. Your only contact with your family back home would be very sparse. So move on to Ruth 10 through 14. It's the kind of a test of loyalty. In verse 10, we see Naomi apply bitter logic on challenging the resolve of her daughters-in-law to stay with her. When the girls tell her that they will return with her to her people, Naomi tells them, "Turn back, my daughters." Naomi uses the word daughter, not daughters-in-law. This means that their relationship was close and intimate. "Why will you go with me?" she says. "I am too old to have a husband. If I had hope and I were to marry tonight and have sons, would you wait until they are grown? Would you refrain from marrying?" Naomi is telling them that for them to stay with her would not be the smart thing to do. Naomi is telling them it is painful for her because she loves them, but the smart thing for them to do was to stay. She feels the hand of the Lord has turned against her, and once again, all the women wept. But this time the outcome was different. Oprah kissed Naomi, and that means she left, but Ruth clung to her. Now we're going to show in verses 15 through 18, we see the character of Ruth show through. In one last plea for Ruth to return to her people, Naomi tells Ruth, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth refuses her to leave. The words of Ruth are clear back then as they are today. Ruth said, "Do not urge me to leave you or return from following you. For where you go, I will. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me from you." I just say, wow. This uncommon loyalty of Ruth demonstrates love and commitment to someone. Love and commitment when someone requires us to sacrifice our own safety and comfort for the sake of others. Whether you receive a call from a loved one or a calling from the Lord, will you display your loyalty and give up your comfort, security, and livelihood for the sake of others? Moreover, can you show uncommon loyalty to God and answer his calling with a sense of urgency? Thank you.